For right now, we want to talk with Michael Pelletier. He's the Chief Innovation Office for our friends at Bloom Shapiro. Michael, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Thanks for being with us. A lot of people are working at home now. A lot of people in our building, a lot of people on our station are working at home now, including Ray and me on Monday, Todd and Will. What kind of complications does this bring up for businesses, and what kind of advice are businesses looking for in handling these situations?
Yeah, that's a great question. So like you, I'm working from home myself. Bloom has, had in place remote, telework capabilities for a number of years now. But many firms, don't, or if they do, they've only implemented it for the one-off, couple of people circumstance. So some of the things that companies should be thinking about if they want to have more of their workforce, if that workforce and the work can be done remotely, are to look at things to make sure that they're providing both productivity capabilities as well as security. So we recommend, first and foremost, if you're going to have folks accessing, services that you're providing, on premises, at your location, that virtual private networks be used, and if they're going to be used, that you size them appropriately. Many businesses have a virtual private network appliance in place, but maybe not have the capacity to have 75, 80, 100% of the workforce remote. So assessing that and the capabilities, the bandwidth of your organization as well. If you have 10% of your company, working remotely, your bandwidth might be perfectly fine. But if you have 100% of that, you're trying to access your on-premises resource, making sure that you have appropriate bandwidth to support that as well is important.
I'd be wondering what kind of bandwidth you need, in that a lot of people are staying at home and watching Netflix and whatever it may be. I wonder how much access there is actually on the Internet.
Well, there's actually quite a bit, Ray. The most important thing is to understand where those choke points are. So if you're accessing, say, some cloud, resources such as, a cloud-based email provider, they typically have and have had, the appropriate bandwidth, for years, because everyone is accessing them from everywhere.
Right.
But at your office, if everyone's connecting into it at the same time, then that's where one choke point could exist. And so, to the extent that you can work with your IT provider or your internal IT staff to potentially move some of those resources into a cloud infrastructure, that can be one way to address the bandwidth needs on the side of the business. On the side of the employee at home, one of the things that they should look at is their wireless router. Many of the wireless routers have a capability in them called quality of service. And that quality of service allows you to direct a higher percentage and or prioritize network traffic for certain devices. And so employees should look at that and determine whether or not they can dedicate their laptop, as an example, as a priority device. This way, their kids might have their Netflix, stream get bumped down a couple of notches, but at least they'll be able to carry out the conference call that they were trying to make.
Hey, Michael, can you, just for people who might not be familiar, just explain what you mean when you say choke point?
Yeah. So if I have 100 people trying to access one network resource, and that one network resource is not able to serve those connections, then that's a choke point. So as I mentioned, the business and having every employee trying to access a resource remotely would be one reason that things are slow. And then likewise at your home, if you have everyone streaming 4K videos to their devices, then that's going to be using up your bandwidth.
Yeah, exactly.
Thus the quality of service recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that explanation. Because I think
84 on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, that's a choke point.
That'll get you right through it. Hey, a VPN. Let's talk about that for a minute. What is the essence of that? What do you need? Why do you need it, Michael?
Yeah. So So a lot of the solutions that we as businesses use today, many of them have been moved into what's called a software as a service solution, where it's available through a cloud provider, and if I'm going to access it, examples of that might be something like a customer relationship management system, a Salesforce or a CRM type of thing. Another might be your email. Many organizations have moved to either Office 365 or Google as their email provider, in which case you can connect to those environments without anything special. But in order to access your corporate environment, those are typically secured in such a way that employees can't just willy-nilly connect. And so a virtual private network is a service that allows a particular device to connect to that corporate environment in a secure way, so that it's almost as if the employee's machine is in the office. And this way they can access those file shares and other technology that they typically access.
So while we'd like everybody to be able to work from home, it's a little bit more difficult than people want to think it is.
It is, but not without proper planning. Certainly, there are jobs that are kind of hard to do from a home setting. But if you're a typical office worker, and even you can get creative, for those that aren't office workers. There are many broadcasts, yours and others on television that have moved to remote scenarios.
Oh yeah, TV too. I mean, especially.
Absolutely.
I don't think it'll work for construction, though. I think that's just pretty.
Well, it might. It depends if it's home construction. It
would. You know what?
So,
yeah.
You
could actually run machines by remote control, I suppose. It's
hey, Michael, thanks for the insight. We appreciate it. Stay safe, and we'll check in with you again.
All right, you as well. Enjoy.
Thanks. It's Michael Pelletier, my new favorite guest, Chief Innovation Officer.
Is he?
Well, 13 to 6, Ray, if you're scoring at home or if you're alone. 7:58.